NASCAR might have just crossed a line, and this time it feels different. Because what happened after this race isn't just another racing incident. It's something that's starting to divide drivers, fans, and even people inside the sport. Some are calling it great for entertainment. Others are saying this is exactly what could slowly ruin NASCAR. And the worst part is, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. It's becoming a pattern, and people are starting to notice. It all started during the race in Las Vegas, where things between Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain got heated very quickly. At first, it looked like normal, aggressive racing. Both drivers were fighting hard for position, pushing each other, refusing to back down. That's something NASCAR fans are used to. That's part of the sport. But then contact happened. And not the kind you just forget about. You could feel the tension building lap after lap. Every move started to look more personal. Every corner felt like it was one step away from something bigger. By the time the race ended, it was clear that this wasn't over. Suarez was visibly frustrated. Chastain didn't look like he was going to apologize. And what usually stays on the track didn't stay on the track this time. The situation carried over after the race, and that's where things almost exploded. The confrontation between them quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the weekend. Fans started picking sides almost instantly. Some blamed Chastain, others said Suarez overreacted, and just like that, another NASCAR controversy was born. But here's where things take a turn, because this wasn't just about those two drivers anymore. What made this situation bigger was what happened next. Other drivers started speaking out, and not all of them were on board with what they were seeing. One voice in particular stood out, and that was Raja Caruth. Instead of supporting the drama, he actually criticized it. He made it clear that he doesn't agree with this growing culture of confrontations in NASCAR. According to him, this isn't what the sport should be about. And that changed everything. Because now this isn't just a fight, this is a debate about what NASCAR is becoming. On one side, you have fans who absolutely love this kind of chaos. For them, this is entertainment at its best. They want to see emotion. They want to see rivalries. They want drivers who aren't afraid to go after each other. To them, moments like this are what keep NASCAR exciting and relevant. But on the other side, there's a completely different perspective. There are fans and drivers who believe this is going too far. They think NASCAR is starting to lose control, that instead of being about racing, it's slowly turning into something more about drama and conflict. And that's a dangerous direction, because once things become personal, it's much harder to keep them under control. And here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody really wants to admit. Drama works. Every time something like this happens, people pay attention, views go up, engagement explodes, social media lights up, everyone has an opinion and everyone wants to be part of the conversation. From a business perspective, it's almost perfect. The sport gets more exposure, more clicks, more relevance. But at what cost? Because if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you start to see a pattern forming. This isn't an isolated incident anymore. We've seen more aggressive driving lately, more conflicts, more post-race confrontations, and each time it feels like things are getting a little more intense, a little more personal, a little more unpredictable. That's where the real concern comes in, because there is a limit to how far this can go. At some point, this stops being entertaining and starts becoming a real problem. When drivers stop respecting each other, the risk level increases. Decisions become more emotional, and that's when mistakes happen. Big ones, the kind that can change races, seasons, or even careers. So now the big question is, where does NASCAR stand in all of this? Do they step in and try to control these situations more strictly, or do they let it happen because it brings attention to the sport? That's the dilemma they're facing right now. Because if they go too far in controlling it, fans might say the sport is becoming too soft. But if they don't do anything, things could spiral out of control. And right now, it doesn't feel like there's a clear answer, because both sides have a point. NASCAR has always been aggressive. That's part of its identity. Contact, rivalries, and heated moments have always been there. But what we're seeing now feels different. It feels more intense, more frequent, more personal. And that's what makes the situation so interesting and so dangerous at the same time. Because if this trend continues, we could be heading towards something bigger, a moment where NASCAR is forced to make a decision, a moment where they can't just stay in the middle anymore. They'll have to either step in and control the chaos or accept it as part of the sport and let it grow. And that decision could shape the future of NASCAR, because this isn't just about one fight. It's about what the sport is becoming. It's about what fans expect, and it's about how far drivers are willing to go to win. So now it comes down to this. Is this the NASCAR that fans really want? A sport full of emotion, conflict, and unpredictable moments? Or is this going too far, turning something that was once about racing into something completely different? Because one thing is clear, this story is not over, not even close.